The topic is how to create a money master plan. Now, I think that's something that a lot of us really need to think about because if you don't have a master plan, then you typically are aimlessly wandering around the world and around your finances. And so that's what I want to share with you this evening. And then after I share my information, I would love to get your questions because I love Q&A, and also share with you some of the goodies I have for you at the end of the presentation. So I hope that's okay with you. Um, so Jasmine already told you a little bit about me. So, like she said, I'm the founder of richsinglemama.com, and that's the personal finance, parenting, and personal development blog I created in 2008 for single moms like me who, but I also want to share with them about how to create more income for themselves because we always sometimes we have more month at the end of our money, and so that was just something I was just trying to really help single moms to move out of. I didn't want to have to deal with the no money at the end of the month scenario anymore. And so I started creating side hustles for myself, especially when my daughter turned 2. I was doing desktop publishing, and then I was doing some administrative assistant, virtual assistant work, which it later on became, and then some other things. And so one of the ebooks I'm an author of is 79 Money Tips to Turbocharge Your Finances. And that's part of my Single Mom Survival and Success Kit that I have at richsinglemama.com right now, which you can go and grab if you like. I'm the CEO of Boss Tech Consulting, and I'm also the creator of Bliss Body Butter Organic Calming Cream. And that's just a product, one of my side hustles that I actually do right now. So I hope that kind of sparks some ideas for you, and let you know that no matter if you're a single mom or whatever kind of mom you are or woman, you can create the kind of life that you love and you can thrive and not just survive. So my first question for you is, where have you been financially? That's the first question to ask when you are ready to develop your money master plan. And so briefly, a money master plan is that plan that you create to give you a roadmap to where you want to be today, to the future, a year from now, maybe 5 years from now, 20, 50 years from now. Because if we don't, like I said, if we don't have a plan, we won't really know where we want to go. But if you don't know where you are or where you've been in the past, then you kind of repeat the same mistakes you made before. So one of the questions I always ask is, okay, so where have you been? What have your past spending habits been? What have your past budget habits been? Have you created a budget for yourself? And how do you even feel about money? And are you willing to tell your money story? Now, those 4 things are crucial to setting the foundation of your future financial plan, and setting up the master plan. So when you ask yourself, well, where have I been? What kind of debts do I have? Do I avoid money, or do I look at it head on and say, okay, this is where I want to go? A lot of times in our past, especially as single moms, if we've had financial problems, if we've had problems collecting child support, if we've had problems with a number of different things that deal with our finances, then if we don't course correct them, or if we don't get to the point where we're willing to look at them, then trying to plan for the future is almost um, it's almost a futile thing to do. It's almost like you're wasting your time. So you have to go back and you have to look at your past. Look at your spending habits. Look at your family. How did they handle money? And did you adopt their same habits? If it was good, that's fantastic. If you didn't, then you might want to rethink things through and create a new money story. So me, for instance, my family of origin, we had some serious issues. At least that's what I saw growing up. And so there was nobody really talked about money. You earned money, but it went away just as fast as it came in. And so that was an indication that a budget wasn't really in place. The bills, they were getting paid, but there's a lot of frustration. There was a lot of um, just arguments about money. And so I internalized a lot of those things growing up. And so I began to make bad decisions about money. And then when had my own children, and then when I got married, got divorced, then that kind of exacerbated the problem because I ended up filing bankruptcy. I had a foreclosure. I had a repossession. I had all the things, the terrible three things that most people can get when they have financial problems. And so I had to really sit down and think about it. And those financial problems didn't necessarily mean that I wasn't a good person. It just meant that I made some pretty interesting and sometimes bad choices when it came to my money because I was still living the old money story. I hadn't created a new story. I hadn't created a new financial plan. And so I was kind of spinning my wheels. So you have to ask yourself, where have you been financially, and be willing to look at it honestly and then move on. So the second question is, where are you now financially? What's your income like? Do you have a budget or a spending plan, as I like to call it? What's coming in? What's going out? Do you have a savings? Do you want a savings? Where are you now? And when you can answer that question, then you can begin to put a plan in place. You can begin to say, okay, well, I have X amount of dollars coming in. I have this amount of money going out for my expenses. I have this much debt currently, and here's how much I want to save. So in figuring out where you are financially, get a piece of paper and pen, open your Excel on your desktop, and begin to write out everything. Then the next thing you want to do is go to your bank account, whether it's online or look at your current bank statements and take a good long look at where you're spending your money. And that will tell you what your values are for the most part. Again, it's not a judgment call, but it's simply, this is where my money is going. And this is where I like to spend money on, whether it's my clothes or my shoes, food, or if I'm using it mostly for my housing, whether you're renting or have a mortgage, or your car with car payments and gas and repairs. Know where your money is going. Because when you know where your money is going, then you can begin to have more control and power over it instead of it controlling and having power over you. So where are you financially? Do you know? If you do, fantastic. If you don't, today is a great day to start learning by going through and opening up all those bank statements or going to your account and looking at the last 6 months of spending, the last 1 year of spending, and begin to kind of track what's happening in your life financially. So the next thing is, where are you going? Now, this is a thing that a lot of people don't really like to look at, not because they don't have to, but because they're afraid to, because a lot of people are afraid of the future because they haven't taken control of the present. And until you really take control of where you are financially now, which is the previous question, then it's going to be hard to determine where you're going. So a lot of people, they have a kind of a pie in the sky desire to be a millionaire. A lot of people want to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But have you really sat down and figured out what it means to be a millionaire? How much money does a millionaire make? Every year, every month, every week, every day. Now, and those numbers are pretty high because I looked at them before. So on a daily basis, you probably make about $3,000 or maybe a little bit more or less. And then every week you'd be making like 5 figures, and every month you'd be almost making 6 figures. Now, is that really realistic for a lot of people? Probably not, because if you're not willing to look at where you are financially or look at where you've been, you certainly can't begin to look at being a millionaire because you're afraid of money. And that typically is the root of a lot of our financial issues, is we're afraid of money because we don't know how to control it. So, in asking yourself where you're going financially, you begin to again, take that bank statement from the past, current bank statements, look at your current money situation, your income, your expenses, your debt, and your savings, and then you kind of start making some plans. You get that piece of paper that you wrote your budget on, or you wrote your current financial situation on, and then you turn it over and you say, well, this is what I wanted to actually, where I want to be. So I did that when my daughter, again, when she was around 2 years old, 3 years old maybe. I read a book about goals. Now, I didn't know much about them, but when I read it, I decided, okay, I want to make a certain amount of money. And so I wrote on a piece of paper that I wanted to make. Now, this is back in 1990 something, in like late 90s. I wrote I wanted to make $25,000. That was a goal that I kind of set for myself. I didn't know how I was going to make it, but it was better than what I was making at the moment, which was like minimum wage was $6.25. That was nothing for a mother trying to raise a child. Even though at the time I was working full time, I had some benefits, but I was on Section 8, like Jasmine mentioned in the bio. But still, that wasn't enough for me. I needed to make more because I didn't want to have to depend on government support. I didn't want to have to depend on child support. And I didn't want to have to depend on my family or friends or anyone else for my financial security. So I made a goal that I wanted to make $25,000 per year. And then I put the paper away and I didn't think about it much anymore. But ironically enough, the next year I found the paper and I tallied up everything, and guess what? I had made $25,000 for that year. And it was because by declaring how much I wanted to make, I put my desire out there in the universe. I put my desire out there to say, this is how much money I want to make. And so this is the path, and I'm willing to be open to however it's going to come into my life. So about 20,000 was from me earning income from a new job that I got. And then the other 5,000, maybe $4,800, I'm not sure, was from child support. So that equaled to about $25,000 for me. So I knew where I wanted to go because I wrote my goal down to $25,000. And then each year I gained more and more income because I went back to college, because I increased my skill set, because I took every class that I could take while I was on that job. Because a lot of you, if you're in corporate America, or in other environments for work, you have some free classes you can take. So I took advantage of all those classes because I knew where I wanted to go financially. And so by doing that, I increased my income year after year after year. So I went from minimum wage to about 6 figures. And so that was over a span of time, but because I had a plan, I was able to actually do that. So you have to ask yourself, where are you going financially? Where do you want to be in the next 6 months, next year, next 2 to 3 years, or 5 years, 10 years? Where do you want to be? So you have to begin thinking about that and not be afraid to dream big and start making plans for your financial life. And then the next question is, how will you get there? Now, I personally didn't know how I was going to get to $25,000 back in 1998, 99. But today I know that the path I took helped me along the way. So I got there by getting more education. I got there by taking classes. I got there by looking at free online resources. I got there by reading books. I got there because I kind of charted out a roadmap for me to get there. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out plan, because this is all a part of your master plan. But when you make your goals, then you start breaking it down to little tasks that you can complete on a daily or weekly basis, maybe even monthly. And when you do that, you will begin to see progress as you go forward. So you will reduce your dependence on other people for money, whether it's through loans or other means, or child support or government assistance. You won't have to do that anymore because you are creating a plan to get where you want to be in your 3, 5, 10 years. So how you get there is determined by a path that you set for yourself. Only you really know how you can do that. And sometimes you may need help. And so if you do need help, be willing to go and ask for help. Be willing to pick up a book and look at financial roadmaps or financial plans, and start to think outside of the box, because we don't always have to do the same thing that everybody's told us we have to do in a conventional way. We can get an extra job. We can start a side hustle. We can sell some things that we don't need anymore, or even if you need it but you have a plan in place, those things don't matter as much anymore, because you're going to be gaining even more income. So side hustles, second job, more hours at work, and also selling some things. Those are some things that can help you get to where you want to be. So a few ideas and tools that can help you is to, like, again, write your financial goals just like you write any other goal. And in writing that goal, and I'm gonna repeat it again, write your goals down, because if it's still in your head, it's not really a goal. It's a wish, it's a dream, but it's not a goal yet. So write it down. If you did the vision board call before, you know that writing those things down, creating a vision board for your money master plan, that's one technique that you can use. So use that technique. Another thing you can do is read financial books like Smart Women Finish Rich or Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's a couple of books I absolutely love. One's called The Science of Getting Rich, and the other one is Think and Grow Rich. Those books are amazing, and they will help you on the path to more financial education. It will help you change your thinking about money. It'll help you change your money story, and it'll give you the confidence that you need to move forward and create a money plan, master plan that works for you, because it has to be completely personalized, because no one has a situation like you do. And then the next thing you want to do is reward yourself for the baby steps that you take and the big wins. A lot of times we just wait for that big win. Oh, I got a $2,000 raise, $2,000 per year raise, or oh, I got this amount of money in my savings. That's huge. Yes, but we can't wait till we get those big things happening. We want to start rewarding yourself for the baby steps, like, wow, I balanced my checkbook, or awesome, I sold all the stuff I don't need and I now have an extra $50, $100, $200 in the bank. All the little things you want to reward yourself for, because it'll help keep you motivated and it'll help you go forward and keep moving in the direction of your dreams. So be sure to keep those ideas in mind, so as you go along, you will see the progression and you'll begin to reward yourself more and more and more. And what kind of rewards can you give for yourself? You can go get a manicure, pedicure. You can go buy yourself that ice cream you've been denying yourself for the last 3 months. You can go buy a new pair of shoes. You can do whatever it takes to keep you motivated and moving forward. So what kind of tools can you use? 3 tools that I recommend. One, use a money tracker app. Now, whether you have an iPhone or whether you have an Android, there are lots of money tracker apps out there. And I can't recommend one specific one, but go look at them and just kind of take see which one works best for you. Sometimes even your bank, they may have a money tracker tool as well, where you can keep an eye out on what's happening in your spending. Another tool, a web app I like to use, is mint.com, mint.com, and it plugs into all of your bank accounts, your credit cards, and your savings, and it'll help you track your spending. It'll show you where you're spending your money in a very nice pie graph chart. You can also look at all your transactions, and it's really great for the end of the year when you want to do your taxes if you happen to own a business. That's what I use every year. And then finally, the last tool is the Budget Sanity Worksheet that I created for specifically single moms that come to richsinglemama.com. Now, the Budget Sanity Worksheet is an automated tool to help you create a spending plan. Um, and so you plug in your net income after taxes, and it'll help you um, categorize your spending, and it'll do it automatically. So you just plug in a number, and it'll automatically show you what your budget should be for these, I think it's 7 key areas. And you take that, and you could do it for whether you get a check every week, every 2 weeks, every month. You can do it for the year. Whatever you decide you want to use it for, you can use it for. And so that's a part of my Single Mom Survival and Success Kit over at richsinglemama.com. So you can go and grab that. And you get that plus a lot of other goodies as well in the kit. So those are the steps that you need to take to create your money master plan. And in creating your master plan, you will find that within 6 months to a year, your financial life will begin to turn around, and you will have less stress, because financial stress is really huge, which contributes to other stress in your life. So, I'm sorry? So you do that, and then you can begin to get your financial life organized, your other part of your life organized. You can have more money for those vacations you want to take, for the car you may need, for the new house you want to buy, whatever you need. When you turn your money situation around, you will feel much better. Now, if you need help with fixing your finances or creating a new money story, then I definitely offer a Fix Your Finances service. So you can go to richsinglemama.com/fix your finances, and you can get a spot with me so you can begin to look at your financial situation and begin creating a spending plan and a master money plan.